cities face different shocks and different stresses. Some we may be able to predict or see based on the global trends, such as climate change, urbanization, migration flows, but also there are different things that we can never expect for a city to face. So the important thing is how cities can develop this kind of system, processes, this kind of strength to be able not only to survive despite the shocks and stresses, but to develop further, to learn, reflect on those, and act better as it moves on. Even in the most affluent cities say that, oh, we don't have enough. But the question here is how you can maximize the resources you currently have, and how can you create a system where you can attract new resources. So how you can work internally in those processes and how you can identify the transformative actions that have multiple benefits, rather than saying, oh, I'm not sure, should I allocate resources towards the social cohesion or towards, for example, climate change adaptation. So being able to find this kind of space and this kind of actions and projects that are transformative and can actually address both challenges. So it's not a matter of we don't have enough resources, but the question is, do we have a system where we can better and more efficiently manage our resources and have the maximum impact in the way that we use them? So we were working with 100 cities all over the world in trying to help them build their urban resilience, this capacity into facing the different shocks and stressing and being able to develop further. Now, this has become almost a buzzword the last few years around the importance of resilience. But the important thing is to see what resilience actually means on the ground. So we are working with the cities in trying, first of all, to create these resilience teams internally in the city government that have this mandate and work horizontally both with the different city departments but also with the different stakeholders in the city. We also support the city to develop an integrated strategy, this strategy that recognizes the shock stresses, the trends, identifies these transformative actions, and then we also support them in trying to implement those strategies, either by bringing other actors in the mix, national or international, to support the cities in doing so, or help them internally to better understand and create a roadmap on how they can actually implement it. Now, some of these projects may be policies, internal policies. Some projects can be actual physical projects or infrastructural. Others can be programs. Others can be advocacy towards the national level because they need a change in the legislation, or an advocacy of member cities towards another authority such as the EU. So we try to support them according to what are their needs and having in mind on how we can make resilience having an actual impact on the ground, rather than just a buzzword that we all agree on, but what does actually this mean? So, for example, I will take the paradigm from the Rockefeller Foundation that pioneered 100 resilient cities. This initiative started as the foundation had so far and for almost a century worked on the urban scale through different kinds of projects and initiatives. The 100RC is an accumulation of the different lessons learned from this 100 years of working with in the urban sphere. Try to identify that we cannot actually work not only, for example, for cities after the event. We need to be proactive. We cannot just go and expect from the city to work. We need to help them from within. We cannot work with one city, but we actually need a group of cities that learn from each other. So these were the lessons learned from the foundation that led to the development of 100 resilient cities first as an initiative that now has pivoted as an independent organization. So the philanthropic institutions and foundations, first of all, different ones have different missions. And they have, throughout the decades, have experimented with different models. And I think that there were models that were successful and models that were not so successful. So being able to direct those efforts towards meaningful and more targeted projects, such as the creation of 100 resilient cities, is a way forward in actually helping the cities build the capacity internally, rather than having a top-down kind of approach that is usually how foundations or development aid works. Of course, we can work complementarity, and this is the most important aspect, and we need to strive in doing it. And I'm saying strive because this needs effort from all the different organizations that work with cities and networks to do so. It will not happen organically. And we need also to be aware that we may create, in certain cases, even within cities, competing priorities that creates confusion of why we're doing it. So first of all, we as the different global organizations, we need to find a way to align the work we are doing in order actually maximize the gain in the city level, but also maximize the way that we use our resources. So we have cases where we very nicely complement each other, but we have other cases where we need to work more targeted and more focused in order to succeed on that.